Our car critic Christoph Bauer is in Wolfsburg's car museum looking for an interesting car to try out. Of the 200 automotive milestones on display, his attention is drawn to a revolutionary design that flopped on the market. NSU's Ro. Introduced in 1967, the futuristic sedan featured a number of groundbreaking innovations. It was the first German automobile to win Europe's Car of the Year award. Christoph says NSU, which until then had only made small cars, built the Ro as a full-fledged attempt at an upmarket mid-size car. It had a rotary engine, a futuristic design, front-wheel drive, fully independent suspension, and disc brakes on each wheel. All the ingredients for success, it seemed. NSU's marketing campaign invited comparison with the established players. Here, a proud new owner tells his friend the car has amazing aerodynamics. NSU gambled that the rotary engine and advanced aerodynamics would be enough to challenge Mercedes and BMW. The advantages of the rotary piston engine are that it produces very little vibration and has good revving power. Unfortunately, the engine also had chronic problems. Many owners had to replace engines after less than 20,000 kilometers. Christoph says people used to joke that drivers had a special greeting to show how many engines their car had already gone through. And in fact, the engine did initially have bugs. NSU had to replace so many for free that the company's accountants were in shock. But by 1970, the engine problems had been solved. This car from 1977 still purrs sweetly with its original engine. Rotary engines get their power from high engine speed instead of engine size. The Ro engine displaced just 1 liter, but produced 115 horsepower and had a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. This 45-year-old car feels almost as civilized as a modern car. Well, almost.
Was ist das denn? Hofti-Pofti.
A loud bang from the exhaust leads Christoph to remark that this car seems to think it's a rocket. He says that although it's not especially sporty, it is a great-looking car. Features like the low wedge-like shape and sharply raked windshield, which is great for the aerodynamics, catch the eye. But the most distinctive touch for Christoph is this crease that goes all the way around the car and gives it a tidy elegance. That tidiness ends under the hood, however, where a nest of pipes and hoses hides the little rotary engine.
Und irgendwo da unten, da sitzt er, der kleine Wankelmotor.
The smooth body shape gave the car a drag coefficient of 0.35, which was sensational at the time, and better than that of a modern-day Audi R8 sports car. The interior is straightforward and unpretentious. An automatic transmission, power steering, and the big, cushy seats make it a comfortable car for longer trips. The engine is mounted low, which gives the car a low center of gravity and makes the aerodynamic shape possible. But there's one other problem. Rotary engines in general are not very fuel efficient, and tooling around these country roads in Tuscany, the Ro burns up 17 liters of gasoline for every 100 kilometers. The transmission doesn't help. The Ro has a semi-automatic transmission. There's no clutch pedal, so the driver just moves the gear shift to change gears. Christoph says that takes some getting used to, but it works fine. The only problem is the automatic shifts slowly, and there's not much torque. So even with 115 horsepower, it's not a very sporty car.
Trotz 115 PS, nicht gerade eine sportliche Angelegenheit.
Accelerating from 0 to 100 takes about 14 seconds, which wasn't bad for a sedan in the late 60s. But the rotary engine's performance makes driving the car a fairly unexciting endeavor. Instead, the Ro feels sedate and distinguished. It's not easy being a revolutionary. Christoph says that while the Ro80 was a failure at the time, its futuristic design and the rotary engine make it one of the most advanced cars of the 60s. For our tester, it marks a milestone in the development of the modern automobile.
Meilenstein der Automobilgeschichte.